my placements were probably like my best bit, I'd say. I mean, that's like the whole PGCE, so can you say the whole thing?
Okay, so question number 2 is, what was the best bit about your PGCE?
The best bit, I absolutely loved my placements. So on the PGC, obviously it's a year long, so you have like a couple of weeks in university, which are really fun. It's literally like you'd be going to school for a day, so you'd have like a music lesson, then you'd have an art lesson, then you'd have a maths lesson, and it would just be like a day at school. But then after those few weeks where they're sort of giving you things to equip you to be a teacher, and like they give you like lesson ideas, and like you literally do the things that you would do with the children, so you've got all those ideas, you go straight into placement. And I absolutely loved my placements, so that was by far the best bit for me. I went straight into a school that was really supportive, and I absolutely loved the school, the children, the staff, just everything about like the way like my placement went for a first placement, because I was absolutely terrified to go into school and like be a teacher straight away. I was just like, oh my goodness, I cannot do this. But I got there straight away, and it was very much just like, I've never done this before. I'm going to tell you, I've never done it before. I'm nervous, and straight away the school were just like, oh well, that's what you're here for. You'll learn. And in no time you'll be on your feet and you'll be going, and that was very much the case. So the nerves and everything, they are warranted, because it is a scary thing, but like you have the room to learn, because like they are only children, so they are going to learn from you, and if something doesn't go perfect straight away, then they are kids, and you can do it again, and they wouldn't notice. You think they're all staring at you like, oh my god, she's done it wrong, when actually they're not. They're just looking at you and learning. So yeah, I absolutely loved my placements, and I was lucky enough to go back to the same school for my first placement as my last placement, so I spent like quite a lot of time in one school, and then I did a placement in a independent school as well, so I had a broad range of experiences of different school types and different children. I did year 2 for 2 placements, and then I did year 6 for 1 placement, so you have to do a Key Stage 1 and a Key Stage 2. I was terrified of Key Stage 2, so getting put in year 6 in a private school was my like worst nightmare at first, but absolutely loved it. I think it's just getting to meet like so many different children and staff, like, and just see how like it's different in like different environments and different upbringings, different schools. It was just brilliant, like really good experiences. So yeah, my placements were probably like my best bit, I'd say. I mean, that's like the whole PGCE, so can you say the whole thing?
Just have a little sip of my tea. That's cold.
Out of my teacher mug.
Out of your teacher mug, yeah. The next question we've got is, what was the hardest part of your PGCE?
Hardest part? So for me personally, my sort of wobble that I had on my PGCE, I thought there was going to be a lot more. There was only one, which is quite good. I'm quite proud of myself. But my main biggest wobble was when they like to try and place you in, so you have 3 placements, so you go to your first placement, then you go somewhere different for your second placement, and they like ideally to try and send you back to your first school for your last placement. And I was lucky enough for that to happen for me, so I knew the school already, knew the children, so I was expecting, this is going to be great, I'm going to go in, I'm going to pick up where I left off, and I had a really great first placement, so I was like, I'm going to be great straight away, and just be able to go, run straight away, fly. Got there, and you don't realise actually in the 3 months, 3-4 months, not really quite sure, but the time that you're away, those children had moved on so much without me, so their learning had regressed so much that in my first week, you know, there was a pressure as well that I put on myself, thinking, you know, I need to be brilliant straight away, and I need to, you know, the teachers know what I can do, so they're going to expect me to be brilliant straight away as well. But because the children had moved on so much, I kind of felt a little bit left behind. So when I was teaching, if, you know, the children weren't responsive straight away, or, you know, if they knew things already that I didn't realise they knew, or if they were struggling on something, I was really hard on myself, and my confidence was knocked because I didn't know these children anymore. Well, obviously I knew them, but I didn't know them how like I knew them before, because they'd learnt so much more. So I started then, you know, beating myself up about it, like putting it as a reflection on me, as if I'm not very good. Oh, I'm going to be rubbish, it's my last placement, I'm going to mess it up. Started being really hard on myself, and because I was being hard on myself then, for the rest of the week, I then started, you know, mucking up, doing things wrong. I'd be stressing so much about making sure that, you know, I'd got the content right for the children, that, you know, I'd forgotten to set up for the lesson properly, so I hadn't got the equipment I needed, or it was just a domino effect. Like, once in my head I told myself you couldn't do it, for the rest of the week I sort of made that happen, and I had a bit of a wobble, and at the end of the first week I was feeling really low, but Liv actually got the brunt of it, because I was coming home upset, and she told me to watch a TED talk on YouTube that you'd just watched before for some reason.
Yeah, I'll actually link it below, because it's brilliant. It's like a bit cheesy, but it's all about kind of like faking it till you make it. And I watched it when I first started the graduate ambassador job, like at the university, like all those years ago, and it was supposed to help us like have confidence when we like present out in schools and stuff. But it generally was just like really inspiring, and really like the whole like actually just pretending you can do something, like even if you can't do it, pretend, and you'll pretend that much, and suddenly you're doing it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll link that below. And she talks about having a pencil in your mouth, and it makes you smile if you hold the pencil in your mouth, because obviously you're doing this, like,
yeah.
And because you're smiling, you feel happier. And I told Kat that. You tell them.
So she on the weekend, I'd been planning all weekend, thinking I need to be prepared, because, you know, I didn't want to let my mentor down, who had worked so hard with me, and, you know, she believed in me. It's because she believed in me. I kind of didn't want to let her down, or the children either, so I was really quite nervous. So Liv told me about that, so I watched it on the night time when I went to bed on the Sunday. I watched it again when I got up on the Monday morning. And as Liv just said about putting the pen in your mouth, I drove just the whole way to school, 20-minute journey, with a pen between my teeth. Anyone driving towards me would have thought, what an absolute muppet. But do you know what? It worked. I had a pen in my mouth the whole way. I was smiling the whole way to school. I got to school and I was like, oh my gosh, you just had a pen in your mouth the whole way. So if you do now not going to be a great teacher, then I don't know when you ever will be. So it talks about like doing power poses I even sat, actually, talking of power poses, so I'd actually sat eating my breakfast that morning as well, and how I'm slouched now, I sat eating my breakfast like this, because they said that if you compose yourself and put yourself in a powerful stance, then you'll feel more confident. So I sat eating my breakfast like this, pen in my mouth, not whilst I was eating my breakfast obviously, but I did these things on the morning. And then it said about going to, like, you know, into the toilet somewhere and doing a power pose before you go on stage, or, you know, before you stand up in front of your class. So I set up the classroom, pen in my mouth sometimes, you know, if I felt like I was going a bit down again, I'd be like, pen. I then went to the toilet just before the bell went, and stood in the bathroom, and I was like, in the mirror. It sounds really, really pathetic, but I just thought, do you know what, you're at a point, try it. So stood in the toilet like with a big power pose, and actually from then I didn't have a wobble again. So as daft as it sounds, like pen in your mouth, a power pose, and as silly as I would have looked to anyone watching, no one was watching the power pose because I was in the toilet, but anyone watching me in a car with a pen in my mouth, but do you know what, I don't care, it's good, if it works, it works. So I thought, do you know what, I'll try it, and I'll take credit in that. Actually, I think it's because I could actually do it anyway. Like I'd been a teacher from October till, you know, April already. Like, I'd done it on my placements, like I knew how to do it, but I think that just helped my confidence come back up again. And after that, I didn't have another wobble. On a few occasions when I did feel a little bit like I was struggling again, it wasn't because I'd done anything wrong, it was just my own sort of, confidence that would slightly take a little drop. I would whack a pen in my mouth. And on the way to, I know we'll talk about job interviews on another occasion, but on the way to my interview, that was one of my interviews that I was really nervous for, because it was like I really wanted the job. I did get it in the end, so I was quite happy. Maybe it was the pen. I put a pen in my mouth on the way. I did. And it's a 2-minute drive, so it was only 2 minutes of pen in mouth, but it was really. I honestly believe it could have helped. So yeah, that's another occasion. The pen. Watch it on the link.
Yeah, I will link it out. It is honestly very useful.
I mean, I'm not going to say it's going to change your life or solve all your problems if you have any, but confidence for an occasion, if you're about to go on stage, about to go for a job interview, about to teach a class, no matter what it is, I honestly think.
Yeah.